Hi, and welcome to another episode of In Conversation with ASI. Today, I am joined by Breeahn, one of our Perth-based stylists, but also an amazing blogger, mum, body positivity advocate. And I'm so excited to be able to share Bree's story with you all today, or for Bree to share her story. Welcome, and thank you for taking the time. I know you're very busy, so I really appreciate it.
Hi, I'm excited.
Yeah, I love that you've brought so much color today. You're such a visual delight when it comes to color. So I love checking out your outfits all the time.
It's kind of my thing. So I thought I better, if I rocked up in all black, everyone would be like, who is that now? Color seems to be my thing.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you studied with us 2021, I believe. You sort of undertook your courses.
A year ago,
yeah. And a lot's changed over the course of that year.
Mm-hmm.
Share with us a little bit about where you were before you even came to ASI and how this has all sort of come to fruition for you.
Yeah, so it's funny because when I think about that kind of journey, not to belabor a point, but I kind of have to go back to almost childhood.
Yeah.
When I grew up in country WA. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be playing with my hair. It's something I do. I'm so sorry, everyone. I grew up in country WA, but for some reason I was a city girl at heart, even though I knew no different. And I just was always into clothes and fashion. I mean, my mum is a very fashionable person as well, but it's not like it was part of our life. So for the longest time, for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I actually studied it in high school. And then, I mean, even from an early age, all that self-doubt and imposter syndrome and everything crept in. So I never really pursued anything to do with fashion, but it was always a big part of my life. So fast forward many, many years to when I started, after I had my first child 5 years ago, I got made redundant from my job and life was a bit yuck. So I decided to start doing a bit of like sort of social media type stuff, mummy blogging, I guess. And then that evolved into me just wanting to make it about me. And it evolved into a fashion and sort of more style, beauty, lifestyle kind of page. And then that's where ASI came into it. I was working in marketing for a company, but I felt like I wanted to pursue something else. I didn't really know what that was. I had a few people that I'd met through social media who'd done the courses at ASI, and I really admired them and looked up to them. So I thought, well, why not do it? Why not? What am I waiting for? I kept getting all these opportunities and saying to people, oh yeah, but I'm not a stylist, right? I'm a fashion blogger, but I'm not a stylist. And I got to a point one day where I was just like, well, why am I not? What's stopping me? And then I made the decision to look into the ASI course. And I think I spoke to Penny, as we all do. And she sort of heard a bit about my story and was like, you need to do this. And I think you should probably do everything. And I went, okay. And I signed the dotted line and that was it. And yeah, that's my life story up until this point. And it kind of all relates.
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s now. I say mid 30s. Some people might say late 30s. I don't know. I'm 36. And as the years have gone on, or especially the last few years, it's really dawned on me how important it is to kind of pursue the stuff you love and pursue the things you want to do, despite what everyone or society or the limitations you've put on yourself. Yeah. So I did a lot of self-reflection during the course. Actually, it was really weird. I don't know if everyone remembers, I was like in tears like nearly every day. Just reflecting on my life and choices I'd made based on what I thought everyone around me wanted me to do. And I was finally doing something that I thought I was passionate about. So I was in tears every day. It was life-changing. Anyway, I've kind of moved off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I tend to do that, but that's how ASI came into.
Yeah. And how do you think that's played a role in, I guess, where the evolution of your social media and fashion sort of career has been directed as a result of the course?
Yeah, so I felt it gave me a lot more confidence to speak on issues I had already been touching on a lot in my social media life, but I just felt a lot more confidence, and I felt I had a lot more weight behind what I was saying because I had done that training. Things like not so much trends or stuff like that, but more behind the confidence of clothing and why we dress the way we dress and how we can dress the way we want to dress, and tapping into people's I don't want to say issues, but tapping into people's limiting beliefs as to why they're not achieving the things they want to achieve. And some people might think that the fashion is very frivolous. Oh, it's clothing is very frivolous, but it's really not. It can make a huge difference in our lives, and it can make a huge difference when it comes to mental health and confidence and how you live your life. And that is something that I wanted to express through my social media. And I think that my training just gave me that ability to sort of communicate it in a much more effective way, and also give me that little bit of weight behind it as well, because I could say, hey, I'm a stylist, I've been trained, you know, that kind of thing. And also made me see things a bit differently too, because we all have our own experiences, and it just made me see things through a different lens as well.
Yeah. And I'm sure that, you know, when you're getting the engagement from your audience, because I know your audience is very engaged with you and your content, that there's probably been a shift in the kinds of comments that you're getting since undertaking that training that sort of, helped you redirect where you can add more value.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really opened my eyes to how difficult it can be for women. I say women because I work with women or people who identify as women mainly. How difficult it can be for them to actually do something for themselves, or actually do something even as little as just buying something nice or buying something different. So it helps me to be able to not only tailor the content that way, but that has meant that what I'm getting back, the feedback I'm getting back, has been tailored in a way as well, so that I can create more content that helps more people. So it's sort of gone both ways, definitely.
Yeah, I love that. When it comes to, I guess, you producing content and things like that, where do you seek your inspiration from?
Lots of different places. I'm very disorganized when it comes to my content, which is not the way you should do it. Do as I say, not as I do. And a lot of it comes on the inspiration might come on the fly from something I've seen on social media, whether it be TikTok. I get a lot of inspiration from TikTok, even though that's not my main creative platform. But it's very real time. So I do get a lot of inspiration from that. Even just talking to different people, something that I'm feeling in the moment. You know, other fashion, I follow a lot of other sort of style bloggers, things like that. But even just everyday people who are creating content who wouldn't identify themselves as influencers or anything, I might see something of theirs come up, and that's inspired me to make sort of a certain amount of content. But it can come from a variety of things, even, comments from my audience who've, you know, I've noticed a certain thing that they're all saying, and I've gone, well, okay, well, everybody's saying this, so I'm going to make a video that's going to address it. And then even just my own feelings and what has helped me over the years become the person in terms of style that I've become. Facebook memories, that's a good one as well, which is so funny to think, but you look back at your Facebook memories and you go, wow, look at what I said there, and I would never do or say that now. I did notice, I have to make a post about it actually. I did notice a status I'd made about a party I was going to, and the theme of the party I think was like Candyland, and you had to wear bright colors, and I was like, what am I going to wear? I have no bright colors in my wardrobe. was that? Who was that person? Who
And yet
was
now you'd
she?
probably be like, which outfit am I going to wear?
Right. And I look back at that and it really gets you thinking about, well, okay, why didn't I have bright colors in my wardrobe? Oh, because I felt a certain way about my body and I thought that I had to look a certain way to wear bright colors to draw attention. And it's all related. So everywhere and anywhere, inspiration, which is probably not a great sort of way to inspire other people, but I guess, yeah, you never stop looking for content ideas. I guess everything is content, as they say, and it can come from anywhere.
Bit of a random question, but realistically, how long does it take you to put one of your like get ready with me reels together?
Oh, it can depend on what it is, because sometimes that it's so quick. Sometimes it's film, quickly edit, post, done. But if it's something that is a particular style, like if I'm changing or I'm sort of a particular style, or even a product collabs obviously take a bit more time because I'm rereading the brief and making sure that I'm getting the right messages across, also getting what I want across, that kind of thing. And then that could take a few hours, from start to finish. But I mean, the most time consuming thing is getting changed in between shots. And there's there's some interesting videos on my camera roll of me in various stages of undress. And if someone ever got a hold of my phone, I feel sorry for them. And there's all sorts of videos of me talking to myself and trying to figure things out. But yeah, it depends what it is. But from start to finish, if I know exactly what concept I'm going for, it's usually a few hours. But then if you factor in this, the makeup and the hair, that can take a lot longer.
Yeah. The reason that I ask that is I think that, with this age of social media, we're very quick to be like, oh, it looks so easy, but oh, where do I even start? And so people can be a bit put off by it. So I love that you've just shared that realistically, it is a process and it doesn't just come together at a drop of a hat. There's thought and briefs, like you say, especially when it comes to another brand being on board. I think that's so important and something that I know people watching will really appreciate the honesty behind that. I think that sorry, go.
I was just going to say, I think the other thing is also not to be afraid to just do things on the fly as well. So we will have our plans and we'll have our ideas and we have things we want to do, but also don't be afraid to pepper in, hey, oh my gosh, actually, I have this really great idea. I did a video, what was it? Oh, I was doing my washing and I was doing what I do is I was hanging clothes on coat hangers on my line because I'm too lazy to put pegs. And then if I hang them straight, then I can take them straight off and put them straight in my wardrobe.
Love it.
And I had a thought and I was like, oh, I'm sure everyone knows how to do this. And then I stopped myself and I went, you always say that. Everyone knows this. And then you say something about it and so many people will come to you and say, I never even thought of that. So I decided to make a video of it. I went inside, I quickly filmed my washing hanging on the line, went inside, made the video, posted it pretty much straight away. And yes, a lot of people did say, hey, I do this all the time. But then there were lots of other people, I never even thought to do that.
Yeah.
So even just not being afraid to make things on the fly too, because even if it's just one person who said, wow, I never thought to do that. That's all one person you've helped. And for every one person, there's going to be so many others who don't bother commenting, but are still going to find value from that content.
Yeah, I love that. What you said earlier as well, and you mentioned that, the evolution of your own individual style has come about. And I know that you're quite open about this, so I hope you're okay with us going there, but around the body positivity sort of movement. And I know one of the most liked photos on your social media account is one of you in your backyard in your underwear.
And that was like a year. That's a year ago now.
Yeah.
Do an update.
I think one of the things that people think about, and you mentioned before as well, sometimes people think fashion is frivolous and, you know, they don't place weight on it for whatever reason. And sometimes that's just the way that they've been brought up to believe fashion to be. But something that I think not many people asks us as stylists is what is not okay with the fashion industry. And I know you and I share like a common value here, which is that there's not enough representation, not only on size, but any kind of range of diversity. So I'm curious to know, you know, how much is that embedded in your passion for what you do?
It's everything. It's everything. And I get emotional because I wasted, and you think of Facebook memories as well, I wasted so much time and energy on what I ate or what I didn't eat, or how much exercise I did, or what I looked like, or do I look pregnant? Do I not look pregnant? You know, that kind of thing. And I wasted so much time and energy on that just because that's something that growing up, you know, in the 90s, in the society we did, it becomes so ingrained in you. And I think back to my 20s, and it's funny, I only just recently was looking back at some old photos, and I think of the energy wasted on focusing on how the body can look and how, you know, how to make myself look smaller. Dressing was only for making myself look smaller. Well, I can't wear that because that makes that look bigger, or I have to wear that because that makes me look smaller, and I have to pose in this way because that's how I look skinny that way. That's how I look skinny. And it's a daily thing. Like every, you know, I still catch myself, oh, I look a bit big, that, you know, rah, rah, rah. And it absolutely breaks my heart when I hear comments or I see people say, oh, well, I can't wear that because I'm this size or that size, or I can't do this because my tummy sticks out, or this, that, and the other. And I know the confidence and the happiness and the good vibes that I feel when I'm wearing something that I love, regardless of what sticks out or what is shown. I know how I feel, and I just want everyone else to feel that way. That is my absolute main number one goal in life, in business, in my styling, whether it be with clients or with my audience or whatever. My number one sort of goal is to make people feel amazing. I don't care how they look. I don't care what they're wearing. I don't care if it's skinny jeans or things that people say aren't in fashion or what. If someone feels, if I can see that light in their face, that is my number one. Like, that's my job done. And so it's I completely have forgotten the question, but that is my main thing, because I know how good you can feel, and it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. It doesn't matter how shit you feel. Sorry, am I allowed to?
Yeah, I'm a potty mouth. Go for it.
No matter how bad you feel in other aspects of life, sometimes it's small and insignificant as just having a great outfit on, because at least that feels good. Yeah. At least when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're going, hey, I look great. Everything else is crap, but I look great today. And that's made me feel good. So it's so hard as well, because even within the like sort of body positivity and there's so much stuff. There's so many rules and there's so many things. So I feel like if I just focus on, I want to make people feel good and feel confident, that is it. That's just number one for me.
Yeah. You've made me get a little bit emotional here, because like I feel exactly.
I know.
And like
I cry at the drop of a hat no matter what. Like, so yeah.
But between, you know, my own experience with that and then the clients that I work with, like when you just said there that you've wasted time, and the Facebook memories and stuff, it's funny, this time 5 years ago, I was in Greece and traveling around, and I was in bathers on the side of a boat. And at the time I was so self-conscious about being in bathers, getting photographed. But now
Yeah.
I look back on those memories, I'm like, I'm so glad I have those photos. And it doesn't matter what I look like, but they're the memories that I'm going to take with me about that amazing experience, which I'm very privileged to have had. But at the time, it's like, how much did I actually pay attention to being in that moment and enjoying myself rather than worrying that, you know, which way I'm sitting, is my stomach going to look more or less rolly and disgusting to someone else, when it's not the case at all. And you know, part of the reason that, sorry to go off on a tangent, but what you've just shared there really connects with me on so many levels, because that's part of the reason that I became a stylist, because I wasted so much fucking time. So yes, swear away. Like just hating on myself. And I love that, I see that in what you produce, and the unashamed honesty that you bring to that is so refreshing. And, you know, as a content creator, I think it's very easy for us to look at some of these, I guess, influencers who are of that traditional model size, promoting confidence, but it's like, hang on a second, when you've been in this state of mind being told your whole life that actually the way you look is wrong, and then, you know, it's hard to sort of, again, even figure out how you get confidence when you're never going to look like what the bar is set at.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge thing as well, is that what I've come to learn is about not only my body but others as well, is it literally is predetermined for you. You literally cannot look like, if this is perfect, only a small amount of people in society are going to be able to look that way, because it's predetermined. There's so many things in your life, not only before you're born, genetics and all of that sort of stuff, but as you move on in life, whether it be, you know, medications or illness or stress or what, it's predetermined for you. So you literally can try so hard, but you will spend your entire life trying and working hard, and isn't there something better to focus on? And I'm still very much aware that I'm very privileged, and I can go into a store right now and buy my size, and that is a huge privilege that I have, because I am still a straight size person, and there's still there's a huge amount of our population who cannot just go into a store and buy something in their size today. They can't do it. And I am aware of that too. And I think that's another important thing when it comes to social media, is surrounding yourself not only with stylists like us, but other creators of other body types, or body positivity creators who are plus size people, to understand the struggles they go through too. I think that's something that's taught me a lot about my clients and about my audience, is following some of those other people too, because obviously I come from a place of privilege, and understanding other people and the struggles they go through, as well as my own struggles, it helps create a better picture for that too. So consuming the content as well as creating it.
Yeah.
And I consume a lot, let me tell you. This is surgically attached to my hand.
Yeah, but I suppose for you, it's partly research as well, you know, keeping up with ever-changing social media algorithms and tech things that you've got to then take into a consideration. I read somewhere recently that it used to be that you should use all your 30 hashtags, but now they say actually pick 10 or something. It's like, what's the lesser of the evils, really?
They say something different every week.
Yeah, right.
So what I keep abreast of that. I have it sort of over here, but also I try and stay in my own lane too. And sometimes I'll test things out and sort of see how this works or that works or this works. But at the end of the day, if your content is good, it will get in front of the right eyes.
Yeah.
It may not, every piece of content you produce is going to be a real banger and a real winner, even if it is good. It's just the way it works, because you're under the thumb of a corporation that you have absolutely nothing to do with and no say in. So it's just about just keep putting it out, and you're going to find your people, and just know that not everything is going to be an absolute hit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a really important message, not just on social media, but with everything that we do. It's like, you know, sometimes you're going to love things and sometimes you're going to be like, that's not really for me, or connecting.
Yeah.
And that's just normal. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had content that I've produced that I'm so proud of and thought it was amazing. And for some reason, it just hasn't done well, and that's fine. And it's just like, okay, cool. You just move on.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, some people are still going to see that, and they're still your followers, and you still want to be showing them something.
Yeah.
So even if you're not getting massive numbers, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
She tells herself.
With that, I know that you share a lot about, you know, your family and how important they are to you. But outside of that, or maybe they are, but who is your biggest supporter when it comes to what you're doing in this space and your dreams?
Well, it's definitely my husband. He works for me. And when I say as in something technical will happen, I'll be like, can you fix this? Something's going on. I need a website. I need this on my website. How do I do this? Set this up for me. So he works for me, and he's also very good at sort of hyping me up, and I'll send stuff to him and be like, is this good? Or just like come across as stupid or this, that, the other. And he's like, no, it's really good. And nope, this is good. And he's the one reminding me that, like, no, you are doing well, and please don't say those bad things about yourself. And I'm like, you have to say that. You're my husband. So for sure him. And sometimes he's the only adult I speak to in a day. So, you know, he's really great. And even things like, and I don't know if he'll see, I might show this to him, I don't know. Even things like, you know, I'm like, oh, I have to go film something. And then I spend an hour doing my hair and my makeup and all that. And he just knows to keep the kids occupied, and he'll just let me do my thing. And so he's really great in that respect. And he deals with all my meltdowns and my breakdowns and my tears and my, I give up, this is dumb, this is stupid, I quit. And then the next day I'm like, I've got this really great idea. So he's
the
really
ups
good.
And downs of business ownership,
right? And being married to a creative pet, like I feel so sorry. Like every day I'm like, really, are you sure? Did you want to just find someone normal? Because this is yeah, anyway. And I must give a shout out to my mum and dad too, because they're so funny. I made my mum get Instagram to follow me years ago. And then my dad doesn't have social media, and I made him get a YouTube at some point to subscribe to my channel many years ago, and I've just recently started posting on YouTube again. And he did message me the other day and said, I'm sorry, but 4 minutes on a lipstick is just a bit long for me. I can't watch it. I'm like, it's fine, you don't have to. But they're always, yeah, right.
That's such classic dad energy.
Right. But they're always telling me as well, they're always going, oh, so I met this person. This is both my mum and my dad. I met this person and I told them what you do and I made them follow you. So there's that. And also I was talking to my mum the other day and she said, you've been on the same followers for a while. What's going on? Both her and my dad were saying, yeah, what's happening? You need more followers. And I didn't realize that they kept tabs on things like that. So that is very nice and supportive. Yeah. And again, they don't understand, particularly my dad. He doesn't have any social media. My mom does, but they don't understand, but they make the effort. And yeah, my dad's always saying that he's telling, oh, I did this job for this person. And anyway, I told her to follow you, and I told her that you started out posting about mummy things, and now you post about fashion, and you're a stylist, and you post about body positivity. And I was like, Dad,
PR dad.
He is up with it. He knows. He was able to describe my brand better than I could. And I'm like,
oh,
good job. Until they say those things to me, I don't even realize that they're paying attention. So I must give a shout out to them too, because it is really sweet of them to keep tabs on my followers.
Especially when, the industry in which you're working and the platform in which you deliver it in was completely non-existent as they were growing up, so foreign to them.
When I was growing up.
Yeah, right.
I always say that I always knew what I wanted to do. It just didn't exist yet.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, well, because in high school I was like, I don't know, I want to do something like I kind of want. My parents will say that I told them I just want to be famous, and I don't ever remember saying that, but apparently I did. And I said, well, and they said, well, you can't be famous for doing nothing. What are you going to do? And I said, well, I don't know. Like I kind of like acting, but I don't really want to be an actor. I kind of like this, but I don't. And I didn't know. And it was because it didn't exist yet. Not that I'm famous.
Yeah. Well, it depends who you ask. I mean, you ask your dad and he'll tell you.
Well, I every now and then I do get recognized at the shops or something, and it's very surreal, and also nerve-wracking, because I'm like, what was I wearing? What did I look like? Did I have my children with me? Was I yelling?
All those things that cross your mind.
All those things you have to think about. I have to think about now when I leave the house. I'm like, I've got very distinctive hair color, so people know that it's me sometimes. But I'm like, what was I? Oh no. Oh, did I even have makeup on that day? Anyway.
You know what? You're just keeping it real. Who cares?
I am.
Yeah. So I guess to
always look like this.
I want to finish with a question that I ask everyone who comes on and chats.
Excuse me.
I mean, success is measured so differently for many different people, but what does it look like for you, and how do you measure success for yourself and your brand?
I saw this question when you sent it to me, and I thought about it long and hard, because I don't know if I have an answer because it changes every day. Yeah. And I think so many of us, maybe we're in a slow point and we're like, I haven't made any money, I'm a failure. So, and I know people, they will always say, don't look at money as your success. But it's, of course we look at money and what we're earning and what we, jobs and what, of course we're going to look at that as a measure of success, because we live in a capitalist society and that's how it works.
That's right.
So, some days it's money, some days it's, and again, they will say not to focus on this, but some days it's followers. Some days it's, oh, I've lost followers. Oh, no. Some days it's just one person saying to me or sending me a photo and saying, hey, I wore this outfit today and I never would have worn it, but I wore it because you shared it, or you reminded me that I had it in my wardrobe, or you gave me the coffee. Sometimes it's just that. It's literally one message. And I'm like, wow, I'm doing something right. Yeah. So it can change every day. Yeah. And I know that's probably not I don't know if that's a very inspiring way of answering that question. I'm not sure. But that's the reality for me at the moment, is every day it looks completely different. And some days I feel like a complete failure and I feel like I have no success at all. Yeah. I think that's pretty ready to quit. And then I cry to my husband and he has to put up with it.
I think everything that you've shared in this session so far has just really resonated with me on so many levels. And I just love your passion.
Claire, we've never met in person.
I know. It's killing me. One day it's going to happen. I know. And I can imagine that you and I will not stop talking if that does.
This bloody country being too big.
I know. But yeah, thank you for all your insights and for bringing your passion. Like, it comes through so authentically when you speak, and I just can't wait to see what else happens for you in the future. It's really exciting.
Oh, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this, and stuff like this, it does help me as well, because I think sometimes when you're in a bit of a crappy mental space, sometimes just having one person say, hey, we want to chat to you because we think you're great, you're like, oh, actually, I am great. Yeah. Look at all these things I've achieved. I am great.
Yeah, you are. And yeah, thank you for sharing your greatness with us and with our audience. And I look forward to meeting you in person one day very soon.
Oh, one day.
Take care. We'll chat soon.